It's fair to say that the Kia Soul has got somewhat opinion-dividing looks, but it does need that attention-seeking edge if it's going to compete with cars like the Renault Captur and Nissan Juke. The thing is, these small SUVs kind of have to do everything. They don't just need to look cool, they also need to be cheap to buy and run, they have to be easy and comfortable to drive around town, and they have to be a bit more practical than your average Super Mini. So does the Soul manage all of that? To get straight to the point, the Soul kind of does fall down on the comfortable element of all those requirements. The ride quality around town in particular is just a bit unsettled. You feel jostled around quite a lot of the time over scruffy tarmac and just the usual sort of road surfaces we get in the UK. It does settle better at high speeds, and it's not so bad that I don't think it would be a complete deal breaker for many, but it's not as good as plenty of other rivals out there. You have an option of two engines, a 1.6 petrol or diesel. The 1.6 petrol does have to be revved really hard to get the best out of it, so despite quite good performance on paper, it doesn't really feel like it in reality. You have to change gear quite a lot. It's just kind of feels like hard work. The diesel, on the other hand, has good mid-range torque, and it's just a more relaxing thing to drive, obviously more efficient, so that's definitely the one to go for. Refinement isn't outstanding on either model. The diesel in particular is a little bit gruff, even at motorway speeds. You do kind of hear it in the background still. It's a small car, so it doesn't have to be amazingly refined. It's fine by class standards, it will just be a little bit wearing on long journeys. Handling is absolutely fine. It's not like scintillatingly amazing, but it does turn into corners nicely. The steering is perfectly predictable. You probably won't ever want to use the sport or comfort modes in the 3 steering weights, so just leave it in its default mode and it's fine. Body controls, it's quite good actually through corners, so you've got plenty of confidence in it. It's fine to drive even quite quickly down a B road. It does just what you want it to. Another good thing about the Soul is that it actually has very good visibility. This boxy body shape, lots of glass area, so you can see out of it really well, and you can judge the corners of it very easily, so it's really good for around town manoeuvring in car parks, that kind of thing. As long as you avoid the entry-level start trim in the Soul, then actually the interior is a real strong point. Start trim has all one kind of grey plastic across the dash, and it just feels a bit cheap, and granted, while it is, and you do get digital radio, USB and steering wheel audio controls, the Connect trim, the mid-level trim, is really worth it, because you do get the gloss black plastics, you get this nice leather dial binnacle, you do get Bluetooth with Connect, and you also get a 4.3-inch colour screen with a reversing camera, so it all feels a bit nicer. Go for Connect Plus trim, which is the one that we'd go for, and you also get this 8-inch colour screen with nav, which just finishes off the whole thing. It makes it feel kind of like it's from a class above, really. Not only that, you also get loads of space in the Soul. You've got masses of headroom because it's got this nice boxy body shape, and while the seat's a little bit flat, there's plenty of adjustment and you can see out really well all around you. So it's actually one of the best in the class for that. The only thing that might disappoint in the back of the Soul is the fact that there's no clever tricks like the sliding rear seats you get in the Renault Captur, but there is loads of leg and headroom, so despite that it's still probably one of the most comfortable cars for rear passengers in the class. There are no clever tricks in the boot either. You get this fairly big tailgate, so you get a nice big opening, but there's a huge drop down to the boot floor over this quite high load lip, and also this slightly odd parcel shelf that you fold back rather than it lifting with the boot. Still, it's a good size. The seats do fold down, but they leave a bit of a step up, and you have to spec up the right trim level to get a variable boot floor. The Kia Soul does lots of things really well. It's one of the most spacious cars in the class, it's got a really nice interior, and it's very competitively priced, particularly if you take into account the big discounts that you can get. However, it is blighted by a slightly too firm ride and also very average refinement. Still, if you can live with those two things, then it is definitely one of the better cars in the class. For more information, go to whatcar.com and search for Kia Soul, and while you're here, click subscribe and have a look at the rest of the videos on our channel.